It's coffee time. Oh my. Oh my, what a brute outside. Oh. With my tiny teacup, complete with kitten. You've offended me, sir. Sorry, maybe you never even heard that horn. That would make this so much better. I heard a very loud horn outside, and that's what I was reacting to. There were also many, many nidhogs that just went by. I timed it out pretty much perfectly because there were just so many ambulances and so many sirens going by, and I was like, all right, gonna start now. And they just went by, but I can still kind of hear them. They are nearish by-ish, which makes me a little bit nervous. That happened on my way home the other day, actually. I was driving home from work, and I was behind these two ambulances for a really long time. And I was like, where are you guys going? And they wound up stopping right in front of a sandwich shop that I go to fairly often. And it made me so concerned because there are two people that work there every time I'm there. And my immediate thought was, please let it not be one of them. Please let them both be safe. It's not as though we're like close friends. I just show up sometimes and go, I would like a Sando. And they go, no problem, buddy. Here's a Sando. And I go, sick, cool, see you next time. You know, it's very, very superficial, but they're lovely people and they make great sandwiches. So turned out they were fine. I went in there later and they were both there. Everything was fine. I was like, why was there an ambulance there? And they were like, we just had like a weird electrical issue. And I was like, what? Ambulances come for electric? Whatever. Can I have a sandwich, please? So everything was fine. I was very concerned. Also, you guys are going to be so proud of me. Wait, no. First, I need to tell you guys, I have not coughed once today. I've cleared my throat a couple of times, but I have not coughed once today. Please don't jinx it. Please don't let that have jinxed it. Please don't let me wake up in the middle of the night being like, losing it. But it was great. I realized it just a few minutes ago, actually. I was like, man, I have not been coughing today, like at all. So I'm really hoping that's going to continue to be a thing because I do not want that anymore. What was it? Dang it. I stopped myself to say that and now I can't remember. Oh, okay. So speaking of when I was sick, back when I was sick, I had heated up some matzo ball soup. You can probably see where this is going. I had heated up some matzo ball soup because I wanted it. And I didn't feel very good, so I ate the soup and then went back to bed. Smash cut to like a week and a half later, and I find this pot. It's nowhere that a pot should be. It's just in my house somewhere. And I was like, what is this doing here? I look inside, and there's the rest of that matzo ball soup that I made a while back. Like, a decent while back. And it's gross. It's like green and yellow and like murky, and the matzo ball is like nasty. And you guys know me, my initial thought was, that looks awesome. And then my next initial thought was, what am I gonna do with this? What should I do with this? Like, just concerned. So I let it sit for a few more days. And Sam came over and was like, what's this? And I was like, oh, that's from, like over a week ago. He goes, you should probably clean that. And I was like, yeah, I'll get around to it. Smash cut to a couple days later, which is today. And I've left it on my stove so that I have to look at it, right? I walk in after work today, right before the Co-optional podcast, and I was like, man, I don't want to do this. I don't want to clean that. I'm going to just do the podcast and whatever. So I do the Co-optional podcast, and I'm on break. Not on break from the okay, let me re-explain that. Co-optional podcast ends, and I have that break before Manga Pod, right? So I'm thinking to myself, I should clean that pot. So much like a 12-year-old who has chores to do and doesn't want to do one of them, I start doing other things around the house that I know need to be done. Like all of the other dishes and cleaning the toilet, things like that. And eventually, I walk by the stove and I go, okay, it's time. So I pick it up. I pour it in the toilet, holding my breath, flush the toilet, escape the room, realize that I still have the lid off, close the lid, and then realize I'm holding my breath this whole time, and then realize, oh my god, that smell is still going to be there because I haven't rinsed this out. Run over to the sink, rinse out the pan, squirt a bunch of soap in there, put more water in there, and I think to myself, okay, it must be safe to breathe now. And so I take a big gulp of air, and it smells awful. I'm just like, it's like, how do I escape? How do I escape? You'd think after college, after going through college and doing this to myself so many times, you would think that I wouldn't do this anymore. But I do. I do, because I'm an adult. And so my kitchen has all of the windows open to a point where the cats can't like get out. They're all pretty high up, so we're fine. And put so much soap in that sink, guys. I did as many dishes as I could fit on the rinse rack, and then everything else in there is just like Soap City, because it just smelled so bad. But then I also had that sense of accomplishment, like, this shouldn't have ever even happened. I took care of it. I put myself in an awful situation, and then I took care of it, you know? Just one of those feelings like, I took responsibility for myself, cause I did an irresponsible thing. Oh my goodness. I forgot to tell you guys, or maybe I did. Did I tell you guys this yesterday? I don't think I did. So I'm listening to Game of Thrones Book 1 on audiobook because I tried to start reading it and couldn't get past like the first part. It's like, man, this is so wordy. I hate this. So I decided before I went over to go on set with the Warp Zone yesterday, I decided, you know what? I'm going to get the audiobook for the first one and listen to it on the way over there because Malibu is a pretty far drive. So I wind up starting to listen to Game of Thrones Book 1 on audiobook. The reader, fantastic. If any of you have ever thought to yourself, man, maybe I should just like get the audiobook of that thing because, you know, it's a big deal. The reader is great. He's awesome. But I will say, once again, when I started listening to it, I was like, this first part, I can't follow at all. I was just like, who is that guy and what's happening and who's doing what? I don't understand. But once it got past that first part, smooth sailing. I've been so invested, just like, yeah, what's next? Yes, all right, next, uh-huh. And it makes me feel like if I had just kept reading past that first part, I would have been totally fine. But just for some reason, it was so hard to read the beginning of the first book that I literally just put it down immediately. I didn't even give it a shot. But I don't regret listening to the audiobook because, like you guys know, I listen to podcasts in my car like every morning. Driving to and from work, I listen to podcasts constantly. But I've been basically like listening to Radiolab non-stop for the last week. And so I decided, you know what? I need to change of pace. Thus Game of Thrones entered my life. And now I'm like, I need to listen to all of it. I sat in my car, you guys. I pulled into our driveway and sat in my car for another 10 minutes until he finished the chapter because I was like, what's next? Yes, and then, even though I knew what was going to happen, didn't matter. Did not even matter. I was like, all right, uh-huh, yes, okay, good, right. It's been great. It's pretty awesome. I'm enjoying it immensely so far. And the reader's great because he does voices, but none of them are ridiculous. They're all just, they help you define characters, and they help when there's a lot of back and forth. It helps just to keep up with who's saying what and what's happening. And when a name keeps coming up, you know, you associate it with a voice, and it's been good. He's good. He's a good choice. Although I will admit, when I was going in there to find Game of Thrones and be like, all right, I want this one, I almost bought the Tina Fey book instead because it is narrated by Tina Fey. Was like, sounds amazing. I want it. But I stuck to my guns. I got Game of Thrones, and it's great. So, yeah. But we did JoJo's Bizarre Adventure on MangaPod, and on Co-Optional Podcast, I almost died because it was so warm in my apartment. And it's still really, oh God, it's still really warm in here. I need to turn the AC back on. I had the AC on like all afternoon, and then I turned it off for MangaPod, and it got really hot in here again, and I was like, no. And so after MangaPod, I turned it back on, and then to make this video, I turned it off again, and now I'm like, oh, it's getting hot again. I feel it. You know, when you're just sitting, but you start to sweat, you're like, why? I'm not even doing anything. I'm just talking. Ugh. Complaining. Because that's what I do. I complain. Oh, man, but Thursday, leave for PAX. Sam's not going. Single tear. But he gets to hang out with my cats. Yay! So I'm going to try to record a bunch of Magical Diary for while I'm gone. But we put up a loadout video of Sam and I playing loadout together, which was really fun. And everybody seemed to enjoy it, so yeah. We were like, we should do a thing together. So we did a thing together. But anywho, I'm going to go. I hope you guys have had a fantastic day, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye. Mwah.